Alright, hey there everybody, and welcome to the Dark Souls 2 Collector's Edition Guide review. This is available for $30. I believe when I bought it, it was $30 at, I got mine at GameStop just so that I could actually view it, make sure all the corners were in good condition and everything. But you can buy it on Amazon. On Amazon, I believe it's $35. It's a hardcover book. It is for around 450 pages, I believe. It's 460. Oh, there we go. 460 pages. Um, and it's a hefty book. It's a big, big book. Average size hands, and it's pretty big. It's written by Future Press and a variety of Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 1 personalities. Epic Name Bro, um, Franz, like a British spy, or a German spy, sorry, not a British spy. I don't even know who that is. And then on the side, it looks a little broken, and I've used it a lot. And then Dark Souls 2 Collector's Edition Guide, and on the back, I thought it was really cool. For the curse of life is the curse of want, and so you peer into the fog in hope of answers. And so that's kind of what this book is supposed to be about, answers. Although that's not how I'm going to be using it. So the book is, it has a little intro bit, and the pages are glossy, like almost like magazine paper, but they feel a lot thicker. So they're almost like cardstock thick, but they're glossy. Um, I like it. It feels good in your hand. It sticks to your fingers just enough. The table of contents, it's broken up into chapters. So chapter 1 would be the actual like gameplay. Chapter 2 is area guide, and it has everything in the game. Including like optional areas, equipment, magic, and items, and assembly. I'm going to flip through all of these very briefly, just to kind of give you an idea. Arrows, bolts, armor, magic, items, key items, rings. Rings are the really good thing. And then part 4 is extras. And the extra section is a really, really cool, very impressive section. And I think is really cool that they included that because they could have left it alone because it's extras. So section 1 is on page 4, just starts on page 4. Each of the chapters has a little kind of brief overview of what's going to be in the chapter, and then concept art, I believe, for a different area. So I really like all of the transition pages. So it goes over everything from each of the individual characters, or like starting characters, classes, builds. There are well, this is just like a basic page. This is more actual gameplay stuff, health bar, all of that information. You guys know all this stuff. These are just more gameplay elements. And it includes everything from like hazards, Ferris's lockstones, all of that kind of stuff. And then stats, which I think this is really cool. They have a different section on every stat that you could like need, So it kind of gives you an information on scaling, how it works. So as you see, like putting in points of endurance up to level 20 will add 2 stamina. Anything over 20 is going to only add 1, and so you leveling up to 20 is when you start to get diminished returns, which I think is cool, and it tells you that. Same with health, and then I believe strength and dex is at 40, maybe? I actually haven't looked at like these sections that much, but as you can see, yeah, so anything over 49 is diminished returns of 0.5 points of vitality. For strength, the total strength bonus is, as you can see, it goes from 50, so that's a 7-point bonus. These 10 have the biggest difference of 23, and then this is only 20, and then that's 38. So as you can see, there's different attack power gains, so you can see how scaling works there, as well as dexterity, adaptability. It goes in depth on all of these. It goes in. So then we get to the area guide, which one second. Okay, no, I was just skipping the page. So chapter 2 is the area guide. Sorry about the glare, by the way. As the area guide, has a big 2, looks really cool. An interesting area. I believe, minor spoilers, by the way, I believe this is supposed to be kind of a reference to the Shrine of Amana, because, as you can see, it's like a reflection of something that's not actually there. So it looks like the ruins of Amana, and then kind of how it was in its former glory, and I think the game takes place somewhere in between them. Or I might just be totally misinterpreting this picture. So the area, this is the meat. The area section goes all the way to just about here. So this is like the main meat of the guide. And in each of these areas, you've got overall map. I'm gonna try not to spoil too much of like late game, so I'm just gonna really be going over like the things betwixt and the enemies there. It has a difficulty on a 5 skull level, which I think is kind of silly for Dark Souls that they would do that. Interesting thing though is that they have a soul level guide, so they're recommending that like this soul level you can be any, but in later areas you can see it. For instance, No Man's Wharf, 35 to 45. So it kind of gives you a how you should be leveling up as the game goes on. All of these include, information on like where ladders go. Oh, come on, focus. I don't know if it's going to focus there, but this is where you can find Snuggly, except, well, in this one they're technically called Dinah and Tilo, but the Snuggly the Crow, you can trade with her, or them, I guess this time, again. So it has everything on NPCs, and then the way that they do it, I think is really cool. So this is the overall area map. So, you spawn here, you run this way. And this has geography on it, as well as items and such. So, like, you can see there's a human effigy here, in the chest on top of the Firekeeper's hut. But here is where it actually kind of gives you the guide. So it takes that map, makes it much smaller, and then it numbers them 1, A, 2, B, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it goes in depth on what should be going on in each of those areas. So you can see it's, at the conclusion of the opening sequence, blah, 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 position A. So then it's like, okay, there. I really like the organization for this. It's really helpful. And it allows you to find items very, very easily, because at the beginning of each section, there's a little thing, talking about the area enemies, and, come on, focus. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. So, the area enemies, and then it says important items, but so far I haven't found an item that's not listed. Like, it even lists the rusted coin that you can find back there. So it lists all the items that you can find just as pickups and all that jazz. So I really like the area guide. They have pictures of most of the major areas, each of the steps, those numbered steps they have. That's pretty cool. They also have enemies. So everybody calls them wolves in that first area. In like the very, very first area, they're kobolds. The ogres that you can find there. The skeletons in Majula, the enslaved pigs. Majula pigs are OP. But yeah, and then, so it kind of just does that for all of the different areas. They have these little world events. So this one is talking about the Company of Champions. And, because it's like you'll find that pretty quickly anyways, and it explains it. And then it tells you, go to page 419 for more information on covenants. For all of the enemies, it gives you their names, their HP. Wait, okay, name, focus. Name, HP, souls, if it respawns or not, at least those like 15 times or whatever the limit is. Their drops, their probability, and I believe probability is a percentage. So it has a 5% chance, which sounds really low, but I've noticed they drop them fairly regularly, so I don't know how accurate that is, if you know what I mean. Or maybe it's not. But, okay, I'm just going to go into this really quick. This is 5. They drop it fairly regularly, but I've had times that they don't. But then this is at 100, so, and he always drops it for me. So I think it's 100% now, but I don't know. So here's just more strategies for enemies and all that. So they have that for all the areas. I'm gonna skip all this so that I don't spoil any of the good stuff for you guys. It also goes into invasions and boss fights. Let me find an early boss fight so I can explain this to you, because it's something really cool that I've never seen done in a guide before, that I think is a small little detail that they didn't have to do, but them doing it really is a cool thing. It's a little, well, I don't know what to say. It's just a nice service that they did us by, let's see, come on. Okay, here. So they, okay, I really want this to focus, please. There we go. So it takes the enemy and it draws little areas and then labels the attacks. So if you're within this red bubble in the front, it's going to do the leaping double slash, sword form attacks, mace form attacks, leaping slashes. So you can see, and then it has information on all of those attacks, and then it also has, like, so leaping smash. You can read all that, and then you can see he'll only do that if you're there. And it does that for all of the bosses, which is really, really cool. One thing to note is that there are a lot of small typos like this, where it says mace or sword form without a space, mace form with a space. It doesn't bother me because, you know, it doesn't actually affect the reading of it, but I believe that since this was written in Japanese, like, initially, there are a couple little translation things, but then there are just some things that I think that they might have done on purpose. Like, they spell playthrough, just play THRU, like, and that's where it ends, which I think is kind of odd. And again, that's just a personal thing. So let's go to section 3. Chapter 3 is equipment, magic, and items. This is some really cool stuff. This is the legend. This goes through upgrade paths, upgrade items. I think there's a different page for where you can, like, grind for them. I honestly haven't looked for them. All of the upgrade items, all of the infusion items. This is where it gets really cool and really impressive that they included all of this for every weapon. So I'll just start out with the normal dagger. So they have it categorized, so, like, this is the dagger section right there. And it gives you all of those stats for whatever it is. The repair cost, if it breaks, reinforcement material acquired from the things betwixt. And that's the P means a pickup. And then it has the description, scaling, and like, required stats. It has that for all of the weapons, which is really cool. It also has little information on the moveset of that category of weapon. For instance, straight swords. Come on, well, focus. I think it might be too dark or something. But yeah, so it has the move sets, which is really cool, and pictures of all the weapons, which is great. Great swords. You have ultra great swords, curved swords. What else? Curved swords, curved great swords, katanas, thrusting swords, all of these. So you have all the categories, all of the weapons, which is really cool. Goes into chimes, staffs, and bows and great bows. And again, for all of these, you know, it has where you can find them, the number of souls and everything. Now, armor. Armor, it doesn't give you the actual item description for every piece of individual armor, which is okay. You know, I mean, that's fine. That would be a lot for them to include, but they do, however, give you where to find it. So acquired from Dragon Lake Castle to pick up, reinforcement material, and a picture of it, which I think is amazing. The fact that they include pictures of the whole armor set, and then also all of the armor set stats and everything, which is cool. Praise Lord Butterfly. Let's see, what else do I need to talk about? Spells. it goes in depth on all of the spells, like really, 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 really in depth. For instance, this one spell is just Shockwave. This one spell is just a great heavy soul arrow. And it includes like strategies and all of that stuff, as well as an overview of that section, so like sorceries. Miracles, pyromancies, hexes. Hexes are OP. Please nerf. Consumables, Estus Flask, 1 to 5. Information on all of those, which is cool. Key items, like key items as well as just keys. Rings, and that's basically that, just that whole section. And it has information on all the rings, where you can find all of them. And if something can only be found on New Game Plus, it will let you know. So, I don't know, I can't think of a ring that's only available on New Game Plus, but, or like equipment or whatever that's only available on New Game Plus, it will let you know, which is great. Chapter 4 is the extras. This is where this guide really shines, and I've, again, never seen this done in any guide before, and I own a fair number of guides. It talks about the NPCs of Dark Souls 2, all of the playthroughs, or not playthroughs, all the side quests kind of that you can do for each of them. The actual NPC, what they drop when killed, their souls, what you can get from them. It's really, really, really fleshed out very well. How to go through their storyline, which is great. My favorite NPC in the game, the Enslaved, or the Embedded, pardon me. That guy. You probably know who that guy is, but you didn't know his name. Now you do. The Embedded. Covenant characters. All the actual characters for the Covenants. How you can join the Covenants, what the Covenants actually do. It kind of explains, I think it explains that on like a later page. But that's all there. Merchants, all that good stuff. Here it talks about Tino and Dina, or Tilo and Dina. And so yeah. Now it also gives you all of the summons. It says battle comrades, but these are just summons. Who you can summon, where, and if it'll complete a side quest for you. Same thing with invaders. It has extra characters, or extra areas at least, in the back. So all of the chasms from the Abyss Covenant, the Dark Spirits there, all of their stats. Something really interesting is that you probably noticed the throwback to a Dark Souls 1 character if you've gone through the Abyss, and pretty major spoilers. Right there, Havel the Rock, as we know and love him, but his name in the code and in this is a chip off the old rock. So it's not, they don't say it's Havel the Rock, just like the old Dragon Slayer, I believe, which looks like Ornstein obviously a lot, but all the item descriptions kind of hint that if it is, it's a different form of Ornstein or something's happened to him. So that's lore for another day, another time. But boss strategies, New Game Plus overview, everything that changes in New Game Plus, which is awesome. The Trophy Achievement Guide. Game progression, which all of these are the ones that you'll probably just pick up playing through the game. Completionist, all of these, the stupid, you get all of the gestures. Supreme Weapon, which is really easy, this one, because there's only one Supreme Weapon, like, achievement, not one for, you know, upgrading something up the lightning path, all of that stuff. Here you've got Pyromancy, where to find all of the sorceries, all the miracles, all the hexes, all the pyromancies and everything. All of the covenants, you know, how to get through all of the achievements in like 5 pages, which is great. The lore index, this is just really the index, so you can just go and look up whatever. So like, I don't know why this isn't focusing, but there we go, much better. Happy hunting, see you in Drang Lake. So yeah, so like if you want the Mastodon Greatsword, page 317 is where you can go find all that. That's pretty cool. And this is just the index. And that's it. Overall, definitely worth the $30 that I paid for it. I would pay up to 40 or 50 because, I mean, for 460 pages of polished, hardcover, good, actually useful guide, I mean, pay up to 50. Um, Future Press, authors, really cool. I know that Franz is a YouTuber guy, Markus is a YouTuber. There's probably some others that are YouTubers that I just don't recognize the names of. But, From Software went out of their way to include them in the making of this. And so, yeah, thank you from Future Press, and thank you from Software for making a great game. And this is a must-buy. If you enjoy Dark Souls 2, I would definitely recommend this. See you guys in Dragon Lake, and have a good day.